KYH9, how you doing? Hey, Wooly, I was curious about your opinion on how games still treated and reviewed as products rather than art by most consumers and critics alike. I was thinking about this when I saw people asking for Supergiant to make Hades 2 or Hades DLC. Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, this is a big old discussion, and I've had it multiple times, and the short version of it in condensed format is that the problem many people might not realize when they read a review or watch a review these days, as reading reviews is kind of out, watching them is in, you need to know from the outset whether or not what you're watching or what you want is a review of the product as a piece of art in a vacuum, as a creative thing for what it is, or whether you want a buyer's guide, whether you're looking for a consumer purchasing like consumer purchasing information, right? And the bullet point on this one will always be Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, because Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is a really good game. It is extremely short. The story takes about 3-4 hours to experience, and then there's a bunch of extra missions you can replay. But the overall package for, like, if you're just trying to get that main story narrative, it's done in about 3 hours, even less if you know what you're doing.
Okay.
Right? It's one big mission in one big area. Okay, so that came out and it cost, what did it cost? $40, did it? It was like, I think it was like
Not the full 60-80 package.
No, it wasn't the full $68, but it was still like 30 or $40, depending, I think Canadian. So American prices you adjust.
Yeah.
But people were like, even though it's a reduced price for this essentially like kind of demo, it's not enough game for that price.
Correct.
So there was then an interesting discussion that happened where a number of people were like, yo, this game is awesome. It's, it is a really good feel for what, like, the next, for what Phantom Pain is going to be. And they really enjoyed what was going on for the experience. And then a number of people were online going, fuck this, I paid this money and I got such a short experience out of it. Right? It doesn't matter how good that experience was. It was over in 2-3 hours.
So they wanted quantity over quality.
Exactly. And this is a real thing, because if games are small indie games where they do that and they go, hey, you're going to play Sayonara Wild Hearts. Sayonara Wild Hearts will cost you, I don't know, I am not sure the price, but I assume maybe $15-20. It'll last 1 hour and it'll be done. Some people will look at that proposition and go, absolutely not. I can't spend that money for 1 hour. That's just not worth it. And they're out. And that's valid. To me, it's a beautiful hour spent, and I love it. Because, But I also love res and short games that are wonderful like that. But like, if someone looks at it and goes, no, I need more bang for my buck. I just simply need to spend more time on something. And they don't want to replay the same thing, like a whole bunch of times and such, then I understand. On the other end of the spectrum, you have Hollow Knight, which is a bug 2D Souls-like style game. And that game was like reduced price as well, whatever the $20-30 it cost, whatever the price was, the game never ended. It gave you so much content, way more than you paid for. And then if you happen to be a Kickstarter backer, you got the DLC for free, you got the second DLC for free, and then the third DLC was going to be so big that they realized it's a second game, so they split it off and they made it into a sequel called Silk Song that's coming.
Oh.
They wanted to give you so much game that they literally had to split off the third piece of DLC and go, hold on, stop. We're making another game.
And were people still mad?
No. Hollow Knight, everyone is
happy.
over the moon. Personal, except for me, because it's too much.
Okay, yeah.
I love it, but it
There
is.
you go.
I felt it was too. And a couple other people were like, it is a bit much. The game is like audacious with how long it stays. I'm not going to give it like the Okami flack, because like I felt like the quality of like how long it stays was really high. Okami is a really great game too, but Okami ends 10 hours after it should have.
Okay.
right? You get to a wonderful sequence where the game should end, and then it continues for another 10 hours.
Okay.
And then you're like,
and you wish they would have let
and
you
it
off earlier.
really should have let you off earlier.
Okay.
Biggest problem with Okami is that, like, it then goes into Okami 2. And it didn't need to, you know? That game it ends 3 times. That is correct. So Hollow Knight and Okami are like the ultimate. Also Brawl when it came out, right? If I remember, Brawl was one of the first games that was just like, holy shit, I can't. They're still announcing features, you know. And then you're gonna go, well, yeah, that's the same place that was also. That's the same place that Kirby Superstar came from. When Kirby Superstar was like, oh, yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different games in this. No, wait, there's 5. No, wait, there's 6. No, wait, there's 7. You know, and it's just like, you keep unlocking shit. You can't stop unlocking shit.
That was fun.
You know, they give you, like, you pick up the cartridge and it feels heavy because they're just like, yeah, we just won't stop giving you content. People, for the buyer's guide, people love that. And that is that is something that'll always go over really well when it's like, this game has so much shit. You're going to be enjoying it for a long time or whatever the case is. But I think it's unfair to then look at a game that is great but brief and say this is not worth buying simply because of the time it's spent. You know? I love some of my favorite games are incredibly short. Love Transistor. You know? Beautiful game. Not very long. To say that that's not worth buying because of that length sucks. So from the outset, if you just go, this is a review for this, it's like, that's cool, but that's not really, unfortunately, we're in a place where that doesn't inform enough. You know, for people who are looking for a consumer purchasing decision, and for people who are looking for how does this stand up?
Yeah.
With
the experience
as a video game.
Yeah.
In the medium. Both audiences are looking for a review, and they're going to see the word review, and they're going to go look at it to see if it fits those qualities. And a lot of the time, it leans towards one or the other, you know? Back in the day, IGN reviews would, you know, they would score things and they'd break it down into graphics, sound, gameplay, replay value, right? And I always remember, and that showed up in a couple other websites as well, but like a section is called replay value, and replay value was its own score, and then it would then, you know,
separate from the rest.
Yeah. And then it would get a final score that says not an average. But like you would see a section that was like, oh, this game has a lot of ways to replay, you know? Chrono Trigger, new game plus, new game plus, new game plus plus, new game plus, all these different new game pluses. Yo, best replay value, 10 out of 10 replay value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what does that mean? You know? So it's like some games have a great experience when you come back around and play it, and there's more for you to do, and there's like, you know, extra shit for you to like experience on a new game plus, and some games don't do that. It in some cases it just doesn't, you know. Or if the replay is an intended part of the original narrative, you're playing Nier, and it's like, yeah, your new game plus is actually just chapter 2.
Oh, okay.
And new game plus plus is actually just chapter 3. What are you gonna call, you know? So it's silly.
I find that weird.
It is. Yeah, it was a dumb thing to review things on, but it existed, and that was a factor that you would see, you know? It was like the replay value. And I'm like, yeah, not every game has that, but that doesn't take away from how good this game is as a entry into the medium, you know? So personally, I'm more interested in games with the price removed, right? I'm more interested in games as like, is this a good game? Is it well designed? Yeah. Is it doing interesting things? Is it doing things I haven't seen before? Is it doing things that I have seen before but better?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would much rather know about that, because to me that's timeless, right? If you come back to a review of Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes in 10 years and it says, don't buy this game, it's a waste of money.
Yo.
And you go, okay, but that was because it cost the $20 or $30 at the time. But now it's free on PSN. So should I still not get it?
Yeah.
You said don't spend the money on it. It's not worth it.
It's worth it, yeah.
But when is it then worth it? Is it now you made a qualitative decision based on the time and the value? And, you know, like you're also talking about American money in this case. But sometimes some games, You know, not just here, not just Canadian conversion. Sometimes you go to other countries, you go to Europe, you go to, you know, Latin American countries where they're paying 3-4 times that amount, like ridiculous inflated
Yeah.
amounts. And now, what does that price mean? You know, are you willing to pay the equivalent of $200 for a really fun fighting game? Would that be okay? You know, so it just is not a, like, it's not a consistent thing, right? If you tell somebody, hey, I think you should buy this or not, that's valid, that's fine, but it's not what I prefer, and it's super localized to the people in your country with that kind of income, with that money to spend on that kind of thing. And then as soon as the price changes on that thing, this review is no longer valid, right? And prices do
true.
change unless your name's Nintendo. Games get cheaper over time.
Yeah, gotta
So,
be careful.
yeah.
It's sending a message. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Is Titanfall... Anyone who said Titanfall 2 was, like, not worth it at the time, which, I don't know. I can't check the... I don't know. I'm assuming somewhere on the Metacritic someone was unhappy with that. It's like, is Titanfall 2 worth it when it's $5 in the bargain bin? How about $1 at the fucking dollar store? Is it worth it then? Right? Are you going to bother going back, or are you going to just move on to the next hot thing and talk about that? Yeah, so for me, remove the price. Give me a thing that reviews it and stands the test of time, you know, personally. But or if you're going to review it for the price and include that in your factor, in your decision, then make sure that you state that from the outset and people who go in know what they're looking for. So, yeah.